All right, so for today's cooking vlog, I'm going to cook something very dear to my heart. My grandmother's casserole recipe, passed down to my mother and then to me from my father's side. It requires 6 ingredients. You need pasta. Macaroni is the classic pasta you can use, or I like to use large pasta shells, not like the super ones, but like the medium to size. Those are pretty good. You could also use penne if you want. I've tried spaghetti, but spaghetti doesn't really work. You also need cheese. Cheese is good. Parmesan cheese for the top. A can of mushroom soup. It has to be the bigger can, the one where you don't add the cream or water. It has to be the larger one. And I'll explain in a bit why it has to be cream of mushroom. You also need a protein. I'm going to go with tuna because I'm kind of poor, but you could also use literally anything for protein. You could use chicken breast, you could use leftover rotisserie chicken, leftover turkey, ground beef, leftover pot roast, pretty much anything. Or you can do it without meat, but you know, whatever. Also you need vegetables. I got myself a red pepper. I also have some frozen vegetable medley, carrot and peas. I didn't want to pull it out because they're frozen. And oh yeah, the reason why you need to have a can of cream of mushroom soup and not cream of like chicken or celery is because cream of chicken is too salty. Same with celery. If you think about it, cream of mushroom soup is really boring. And I think that's the whole point of using it in the casserole, because you're adding stuff to the can of soup in order to make it more flavorful, and then you're surrounding it with cheese and pasta. And I've tried actually using cream of chicken. It kind of limits your choices, because what if you have a pound of ground beef and you use cream of chicken soup? It's going to taste like a weird chicken beef casserole. And same with the cream of celery. I've tried doing it. Cream of mushroom works the best. It doesn't have to be Campbell's. It could be a no-name brand, but it has to be the larger can. All right, I'm going to go through the instructions. I'll just put over some footage of me cooking over this. So your first step is to boil the pasta. You can do a whole container, a whole package of pasta. I'm going to do the whole package of macaroni. After your macaroni is boiled, you drain it, put it aside. You can get a frying pan or a saucepan. And if your protein isn't cooked yet, then cook it. So if it's ground beef, you can cook the ground beef, or if it's chicken, fry up the ground beef with some oil or onion, or if you want, salt and pepper. And the really cool thing about this casserole is that you don't have to stop there. If you wanted to make a theme of the casserole, you could do the same. You could do ground beef and add lots of onion, add a little cumin or taco seasoning, add some extra onion, and make like a taco-inspired casserole, because you know you're gonna put cheese on it anyway. It's gonna be great. Or if you want, you can flavor the chicken with like soy sauce and sesame oil and make like a Asian sort of flavor, and you can add like 5 spice or something to the cream soup base. That's why this recipe is really valuable, because it's really versatile. You can add whatever you want. You can use any kind of meat, any type of vegetable really works. You could also use like little bits of broccoli, or you could do like even zucchini chopped up, anything really. Anyways, back to the thing. After you boil your pasta, you cook your protein, add the can of soup to your saucepan or frying pan, and then add whatever spices you need. Even if you're not using any fancy themes, you still should probably add a little bit of pepper and probably maybe a little bit of chili powder as well, just to balance out how salty the cream of mushroom soup is. If you want, you don't have to, but you can add a little bit of cream or milk to the sauce in order to make it a little bit more loose and not as thick. That way it'll be easier when you spread it out. After you do that, you can add your vegetable. You can pre-cook your vegetable or just throw it in. I like to just throw in the frozen vegetable medley and the pepper. And you could also use anything else like corn. Corn's good. And that's it. See, after you stir your ingredients together, your sauce with the protein and the vegetable, turn off the heat, let it cool a little bit, and get out a roasting pan. You want to spray or use margarine on the bottom of your pan, and then you're going to do a layer of sauce to start, then pasta, more sauce, cheese, more pasta, sauce, then cheese. And you want to layer it in a way that it's basically like a lasagna. You don't want any pasta exposed to the oven, and the top layer is going to be sauce. And then for the top layer, add more cheese. You bake it for like, 250 degrees or 300, probably not 300, less than that, for about half an hour. And then for the last of it, you want foil on that for the first like 30 minutes. And then take off the foil, add Parmesan cheese as much as you want, and then put on another 10-15 minutes to get it really crispy, like on top. Take it out, and that's it. An extra step you can do as well that my grandma used to do is put some wavy Lay's potato chips on top and then put it back in the oven and warm them up. Gives a nice crunch to the casserole. You don't have to do that. But this is a very simple recipe. I mean, anyone can do it. It only requires 6 items. Even if you're a novice and you've never cooked before, or if you want to get into cooking, this is a relatively simple, easy, undemanding recipe to do. And it yields a lot of leftovers, and it's comfort food. It's really simple. You shouldn't look down on it because it's a simple recipe. I mean, it's food, you know. Let's see if this tastes any good. Something I forgot to mention is that I haven't cooked in about a long time since I started the YouTube channel. So you don't have to boil an entire package of macaroni, like half or 3/4 will do. All right, let's try this bad boy. It's really hot. So simple yet so good. I like to add 2 cans of tuna if I do tuna because I want the tuna to have a presence. But for portion wise, you don't have to have a lot of meat, or you can have more meat if you want. A pound of ground beef would actually be too much. You could do like half a pound of ground beef. What I really love about this recipe is just because it's so versatile. You can literally do anything. I have extra pasta. I could do a ground beef one next week. I could do, you know, a pot roast, mix a little gravy in the mushroom soup. Such a versatile, simple recipe. Good comfort food. The cheese definitely helps. So go make your own. Something else I forgot to mention is you can be generous with the seasonings. My tuna casserole turned out okay, but it's a little bland. So don't be afraid of adding, you know, a lot of nice seasonings to the soup mix because it's going to get diluted by all that pasta and cheese.